Oi! This is Kaizoku Uncharted. We're a couple of siblings of the vast sea of anime. If you think this is a crew for you, set sail with us each week. I'm Jakia.
And Justin. So in the news.
The news.
So Shangri-La Frontier season 3 has been confirmed.
All right, that makes sense because they left us at a cliffhanger.
We also had, since we last showed up, Akane from Shangri-La. It was her birthday.
All right.
I was like, oh, that's cool. New person showed up and they got a birthday. Also, we have dropping in August 1st. One Piece and Lego have gone ahead and made some collab sets.
It's about time.
It's some crazy stuff. Like you can get the Barati for about $300.
I mean, you know what? It makes sense. There's a lot going on into that. So you know what? Checks out.
Yeah, you're okay with it.
I'm considering, the story and the plot. It makes, and how big it is. Like there's so many pieces. It makes sense.
Now, I did find something that was a bit interesting.
Okay, news related.
It's still in the news essentially.
Okay.
We'll see how much we agree with it. So, article came out. Highest rated anime in Japan, and it was ranked.
Oh wow.
So I was like, okay, and it is the top 20.
Okay, who made the list?
20 highest rated anime, and here's the real kicker, of all time in Japan.
Oh wow, okay.
So I can start backwards.
I mean, who made the list? That's my question. Like, is it coming from a well-known reputable source?
Oh,
like,
that's what
is
you
it just
mean.
some random person who's like, you know what, this is what I've decided? Or is it... I mean, if you don't have that, that's fine. I'm still curious, regardless.
No, the person who posted it, they are usually reputable where they get the stuff from.
Okay, all right, then I'll take it. That's totally fine. Just gotta be careful,
Right.
Never know.
So, number 20 was Your Lie in April. Never heard of it.
Okay, do you have pictures?
Not really.
Okay, that's fine.
It's like one single headshot. Number 19 already was the show you told us to start watching when it first came out. Oshi no Ko.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So it's already 19.
That makes sense. I mean, considering how wild that plot is, yes, it's. I know they're getting a third season.
Oh, okay, good.
2026.
And so it comes from a daily dose of anime.
Oh, okay, that checks out.
Yeah. 18 is Naruto Shippuden.
Okay.
17, Apothecary Diaries.
You know what? That's fine because it's still going. It's still going. So you know what? I'm okay with that.
16, Code Geass. It said 17, so I guess there's more Code Geass.
Oh, Code Geass?
Yeah.
Is it the one with Lelouch or not the one with Lelouch?
I mean, I see Lelouch,
okay.
but I just count him as Code Geass, so we'll see. Okay. 15, Natsume's Book of Friends.
You know what? Yes. Actually, that's a show that I've been wanting to get on, but it seems like a commitment because of how many seasons it has. That show has been, going strong. I feel like that show probably has maybe 7 or 8 seasons.
Wow.
It's and it has a couple of movies.
14, Steins Gate.
Okay, because you like Steins.
I mean,
it's a good. I mean,
I like Stein from
Soul Eater.
Soul Eater.
I thought you were the one that was watching Steins Gate.
I haven't watched it.
That's interesting.
I think I will.
Okay.
13, Neon Genesis.
That makes sense.
Right. 12, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
I'm not mad at that. I'm.
Why not just Full Metal Alchemist?
Well, because some people are just like, hey, Brotherhood goes into more and goes into more of it.
Sure.
And I think the ones that we first started off with was a good introduction to the world of Full Metal. So I feel like it's fine.
11, Summertime Rendering. That's pretty shocking.
I'm not shocked, remember, because it took us forever to have to find out where it was, because Disney jumped on it quickly.
But to jump immediately as the 11th highest rated anime of all time.
I mean, listen, I'm going to watch it because now I have Disney Plus, so I'm going to watch it because Disney has it. Okay.
Top 10.
Okay.
Blue Lock is 10.
Okay. That checks out.
Yeah, love Blue Lock.
It's a good soccer show. It's a good sports anime.
Number 9, Violet Evergarden?
Yes, I've heard nothing but good things about this show. It has definitely a following. It has quite a few seasons under its belt.
Jeez. Stuff gotta catch up on. 8, Gintama.
Yeah.
7, Friend.
That makes sense. Absolutely. And another season's on the way. Okay.
6, Haikyuu.
That makes sense. Now that you've watched it.
5, Assassination Classroom.
Okay.
4, My Hero Academia.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I know, you're not going to like some other stuff. 3, Jujutsu Kaisen.
That's fine. I'm okay. That makes sense. That makes sense.
2, Hunter x Hunter. Still.
That makes sense. It's a good show.
Number 1.
It's not One Piece?
No. Which means One Piece did not make the top 20.
So this is very scandalous.
And you're not going to like who's number 1.
Oh, gosh.
Attack on Titan.
That's crazy. I don't like it because you know what? It's not a good show. It's not a good show. I finished it.
Sure.
I finished it. Now I will say this. Mm-hmm. The score, the soundtrack is on point. It's probably the best I've seen in the world of anime. Consistently. That's fine. But that's crazy.
Yeah. So you have My Hero and Attack on Titan in the top 4 that you're not the greatest a fan of. And One Piece, which is by far one of the longest, still kicking, / greatest, it's not even in the top 20.
Which is funny because in terms of literature and book sales, I think it worldwide, worldwide in history, I think it's actually in the top 15.
Well, you're seeing One Piece has the collab with the Lakers in basketball. One Piece has the collab with Legos. One Piece is
also done like baseball too.
I was gonna say One Piece has a collab with baseball. Just recently, New York Yankees Jazz Chisholm was wearing One Piece cleats.
Maybe it's terms of popularity.
Maybe
it's popularity because I know because I pulled up on my anime list. Attack on Titan for some reason is number 1 for popularity. But ranking wise, it's 116.
I have friends, and I put quotes around that that don't believe One Piece is great, which questions their friendship.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Like I have a friend who, and there's no quotes here because I was like, this shows everything, right? Yeah. And they were just like, hey, just can't find get on it. And I told them like, hey, the first couple of seasons, you gotta keep pushing through, but it's gonna get better. And they're just like, I don't know. And they made it through to Fishman, and they're just like, this show is the best thing. I'm like, absolutely. I was like, so I'm just like...
Well, some people just think it's basic. I don't know how. That's another thing. Dragon Ball Z, I did not mention on this list either.
You know what? I'm not mad at that. Okay. I'm not mad. I feel like Dragon Ball Z is like a starter for a lot of people. I don't think a lot of people are watching Dragon Ball Z. I feel like it's a staple in people's like...
How did Naruto make it? Because I feel like Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, and Bleach were all right there.
I mean, Bleach wasn't on the list, which makes sense.
They took a long hiatus, but that just shows how great Hunter x Hunter is, because they're still on hype.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, after the whole ant thing, which I thought was interesting, like a parallel with Solo Leveling, like something's going on with these ants. Who knows?
We don't want to take too much time in the news.
I mean, I feel like
I just wanted you to know this was.
I appreciate you letting me know. I mean, this list is questionable.
Sure.
Especially with the top 5.
Yeah. Sounds like it lost some
credibility.
I
mean, listen, I'm not mad at where My Academia is because My Hero Academia because. It's new. It's like a new wave of like and how we're going. So I'm like, that makes sense. I was like, that's fine.
Because like next year, if they redid the list, I wouldn't be surprised if Solo Leveling jumped immediately to the top 5.
Because Solo Leveling did not make the list. Okay.
And it's of all time. It's right now.
And that's just Japan.
Right. This is true. This is the world.
This is because we're thinking of the world. The world is true. And the world, it might be Dragon Ball Z. Or it might be One Piece because they unfortunately
there's Pokemon stories, and some people consider Pokemon anime.
Pokemon is anime. I mean, it's a baseline for a lot of people how we got into it. Yu-Gi-Oh's not on there.
Sailor Moon.
See, valid.
We're already making a really great list.
We really are. It's fine. It's fine. You know what? Not Nair Gundam was on that list.
None.
And I don't even like.
You're not even the biggest Gundam fan, but you know of.
And Case Close wasn't on there. With Conan.
Still kicking.
Still apps. I mean I feel like that.
D-Mac doesn't even watch Gundam, and I just found out him and his son are into Gundam kits.
That makes sense. See, it's a little something for everybody. It's crazy. I mean, so there's already some some flaws with this
questionable
list.
Stuff here.
Ronin wasn't on there.
Hey, no, listen. Maybe we'll go ahead and make a real all-time list, and we'll have people judge it.
I think that's an excellent.
Yeah, that's probably what we'll have to do.
Okay, you should write that down. That's a good idea before we forget.
I'll have to text myself.
This is odd. Yeah,
all right.
That was crazy.
So, where should we start here on the anime list today?
I'm gonna go ahead and get it out the way right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna get it out the way right now. Yeah, because it just bears. It needs to. But yeah, like I said, we just need to get this one out the way. Guild Receptionist.
Oh, okay.
Let me just get this out the way right now. Okay.
Let's see what's going on here. All right.
Pull up my notes. Okay. I'm gonna just say it pretty frankly. Disappointment is mine.
Wow.
Disappointment is mine because I don't like how we wrapped it up. And this is me jumping, and that's fine.
That's fine.
It's totally fine because I mean, I'll say this.
Sure.
I still feel like Lo is up to something.
Yeah, you were a really heavy suspect of Lo.
Because the whole time because they were saying like the man in black and the black robe. Okay.
I've never seen him with a hood though.
Right, but I feel like he has one of his outfits, so I was like, it's fine, right? And so I'm like, cool. I don't trust Lo. Okay, sure. I haven't seen him do much in this show. Besides him, like,
so it's guilty until proven innocent.
Absolutely, I just don't know about. I'm just like, I don't believe it. I feel like he's still pulling the strings, right?
Something.
Right. It's too perfect that the guild master all of a sudden is the man in black. All of a sudden. Like, I feel like the pacing in the last 3 episodes just like skyrocketed really fast. To be all like, hey, we finally find out who that girl was in that statue that we've been looking at for forever and a half.
Right, Lynn. We
find out Lynn is his daughter, his adopted daughter.
Right.
This whole time we're just learning all these things about him, who he was, what type of person he was. And how it just didn't add up. I said, this is too perfect. And then 2, we got more information. Because we got more information about who these dark gods are. And it basically came off to me as like, oh, they're people.
Right.
They're people. And so I was like, wait, what's happening? I was like, now it's getting muddy and dark. Because now we're finding out the dark gods are just basically humans that have been transformed. Okay.
The scientists found out instead of creating them, it's easier to already use a person.
Right. And so I was just like, okay, fine.
Didn't care for the scientists getting attacked either.
I didn't either because she was just minding her own business. And we didn't even get to really know her.
We didn't.
So I was just like,
I think that's why they were okay with attacking her.
I just think that was crazy. I was just like, she just minding her own business doing research that, she was asked to do. It just didn't make any sense.
You shouldn't get killed. Could have been worse.
It could have been worse. I feel like the secretary is just like, oh my gosh, what happened? But I will say, I like the fact that the guild master himself was a pawn because now it opens up things even wider that there are people. Because it's like, Jade.
Someone had told him.
Right, and Jade was like, who told you? Right, and then we come to find out later after that battle, because, Alina, she didn't kill him. And she was like, do not misunderstand. The only reason I didn't take you out for real was because you haven't delivered on your promise of providing support in the reception's office. Sure. Which makes sense because I'm just like, this is facts. Because she said she's like, I could have ended you. It would have been the right thing to do. But you're the only one that can actually like.
I mean, Jade would have then became the guild master and he could have made sure we had some help.
I mean, that's true too, because the guild master was making it set it up to be like, hey, you're going to be the next guild master. And then another thing I'm learning is just like, this is the third iteration of this type of the, what's the name of the guild?
Silver Sword.
Thank you, Silver Sword. I was like, Silver Sword's not that great from what I'm seeing. I was like, what's happening?
Him they get selected.
I mean, I don't know. I was just like, these different iterations aren't doing well. So I was just like, I don't know. I was like, fine. I'm glad we found out that he was a pawn. You know, there's someone else behind the scenes. Great. I also, you know, I'm gonna say it too.
So let you tell it.
Yeah.
It's low. So low somehow put a spell that once
I wouldn't be surprised because I was like,
once he tried to remember, it shut it all down.
Who knows? Who knows? Because I just don't know.
Or at least Lowe's a part of this unit or this group.
Sure, because you know what? I'm sure that Lowe had his hood on because apparently hoods is what's.
That person was quite large.
I don't know. I'm just, hey, who knows? All I know is apparently in this world, hoods are all you need to conceal your identity from the masses. So who knows? But I will say this. I don't like how we were misled by the opening. We never saw Alina flying on anything. No. I said this was terrible. I was like, there was no correlation at all from what happened.
Unless you better keep that same opening
for the next season. But I'm just like, if there's a season 2, I don't think I'm gonna watch it because I'm not gonna watch it because it'll have to definitely pick up more, and Alina would definitely have to get some proper training because this can't be our forever. She can't be our ace in the hole to defeat these dark gods, and she has no training whatsoever.
I thought young Glenn looked cool.
Yes.
Them erasing themselves from Glenn's memory definitely opened up a season 2.
It did.
And like you said, I mean, so it was crazy because as I was watching some of these things, the end of some of these shows, I was just like, oh gosh, that's like season 2. And then it dawned on me, and I forget what show it was. It might have been this one. I was like, oh my gosh, they can have a season 2. And I can just not watch it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I was like, okay.
You know?
I was like, you know, if it somehow makes the most anticipated, I could try to fight it. You know, so
hey, if it does have a season 2, there are some shows who are redeemed by their second or third season.
This is true.
Like that Asura show, because like its first season like flopped. People didn't like it. Then season 2, it's right up there.
Really?
And I was like, well, maybe I need to watch season 1.
Sure.
And I was like, but I don't know if I want to watch this bad season and get to the good season. But then I was like, if I've done...
no, I think you want to do it that way.
Apparently...
I don't think you want to watch the good season, then you go to a bad.
I mean, hey, who knows? But that's all I'm saying. So I'm just like, maybe.
Because like, all right, so we're done with this show.
We're done with the show, yes.
It's like with the Red Ranger. That thing picked up.
I believe it.
He's just good.
Too loud. He's just too loud for me.
At the end of it, you know, I don't want to spoil it for you.
It's fine. You can. I'll still check it out.
We went ahead and we finally got some answers because the team was like, "Where are the robots going?" So they have a log.
That was my question.
That they are going, and they kept returning. Yeah. And then they were like, in this whole time, they've been looking for Red. And I was like, excellent. And then in Power Ranger fashion, his friend / I don't want to say a half brother, but the people he moved in with, his friend who became an evil ranger for the evil society, he is now similar to how Tommy was a Green Ranger and became a White Ranger. He is now the White Ranger of the new group, and he is at the base, and he's like, Red, where are you? And I was like, nah, that's how you end it.
Okay, well there you go. Because that was my main question. I said,
we didn't know.
I was like, how is he able to summon them without the rest of the team?
So yeah, they were like, they know that there's a log. They know that the units have been traveling places. They have been trying to find Red this whole time.
Oh, that's great. Maybe that's enough to give me.
I'm like, now if a season 2 come, it will make my list.
It'll make the list. It makes sense. Okay, that checks out. Okay.
All right, so sticking to the disappointments.
Okay. Well, wait. Are we gonna rate the show?
Let's rate it. Yeah. What's your rating on the show?
I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 10.
Okay.
It's a 5 out of 10 because I'm just like, you know, I just feel like because one, we also had too much of Lulu Lee.
You didn't care for that.
It didn't make any sense at the end. Throughout the entire story, at the very end, it didn't make sense why we got all this backstory about her. and not anybody else. It would have been different if it was like, hey, she ends up having this triumphant moment, all this stuff. She kind of has a better role, or or we got to see other people's backstories. There was just too much, too much crab time, too much Lily time. It just wasn't adding up.
I may be a guild receptionist, but I'll solo any boss to clock out on time.
And she never got to clock out on time. That's another thing.
I just wanted to read the title.
Because she never got to clock out on time. Forever overtime.
See how much notes I have.
Forever overtime.
I'll give it a 6.
Okay. That's fair.
For what it is and for what whoever that audience is, I'm putting that into effect of what they're aiming for. I'll give it a 6.
I mean, I think that's very generous of you because I was like, we never got to... And we didn't even get to solo that many bosses.
We didn't.
Because, once we met up with Silver Sword, we was forever with them doing these final things. So I was like, I can't even say that because she never soloed that many on her own.
I would lean towards 3, but for what it's supposed to be,
it's fine. Like
I give it a 6.
Okay, I'm giving it a 5. That's fine.
The Doc.
Okay.
What's it? Something I don't even know the full name of this thing. This doctor just keeps angering me.
Okay, you know what? I will say I was disappointed in her behavior, how she was acting towards
she's a child.
Towards Kotori because he doesn't have any say about where he's assigned. Okay? And she's just like, you're not gonna fight it? And I'm just like, listen, your uncle or your family runs this hospital. He's a regular schmegular employee at both institutions. He does not have that sway. Like, the fact that she's able to do whatever she wants to do is a huge privilege because of, like, her family owns the hospital. So, of course, he can't fight it. So, I was like, okay, this is, like, really childish in behavior. I wasn't a fan of that. But I thought we did get good cases. Like, this was a good case at the end. I did appreciate the case.
I said, wow, a 3-part episode. I said, must be something. Yeah, I didn't care for the yelling. Like, everyone's tone of voice.
It was a lot.
Because, you're the one who doesn't care for yellers.
I know. That's why I was very
She's always yelling.
She was really yelling for real this time. I was like, you know what? I said, let's keep it classy. But she was not. It was rough to watch.
Speaking about not keeping it... First of all,
yeah,
I didn't like the fact that she was acting smug when they were driving to... after getting the case. Mm-hmm. And I was like, why isn't she driving? And then later we did get an answer. She does have a license.
But she never drove.
Right.
Okay.
So...
She said, I got a gold license. And he was like, got it. So you never been behind the wheel.
But speaking of keeping it classy.
Yeah.
We get to the old man's house.
Yes. This was
we hear about his son, Daiki, who is the one who has died.
Right.
It is a closed room or a locked room case.
Yes.
And her response is, talk about interesting. And she has a smile on her face, a grin. And I am disgusted. Yeah. I'm like, hello? Once again, you can't read the room.
Yeah.
His son is dead.
Well, to be fair, I don't think he cared anyway.
Why bring it to our case? It still is flesh and blood.
Well, no,
he called him a thug, but it still is flesh and blood.
No, I think he only called her so he could bail out his other son, Seiji, which makes sense because, and also even keeping it classy, and this is me jumping, the father, Seiji's only there because he had an affair. Okay, and Daiki was just like, I'm not a fan. And then we find out that Seiji's having an affair with a married woman. I was like, he's just like his daddy. No good.
The craziest thing was when they started talking to her, the surgeon, and she was like touching her ring. I was just like, oh my God, there's an affair here.
Absolutely. That's immediately. And so she saw it too. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's what's like, all right, thanks for your help.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Speaking again, childish behavior.
Yes.
She orders the curry. And she's picking up the carrots and peas.
I know. And she was like, eat these carrots. They're good for you. And I was like, well, if they're good for him, they're good for you.
Maybe you wouldn't be such a runt if you went ahead and ate your vegetables.
Who knows?
And then I was like, a fitting end. We got to see Sakurai and Narsu.
I love him because he's just like, he asked a great question. He said, "Why are you calling us out this late?" I was like, "Who are you to do so?" And then
he doesn't put up with her nonsense.
He doesn't.
Her shenanigans.
He just like the moment when him and Sakurai were first trying to get information, he was like, "You know what? I'm not staying for this. I'm leaving." I was like, boundaries. He was like, "I'm not gonna go to dinner with these people. Got better things to do."
Then we come to find out. I guess she just bases most of her life on the movies because she don't go out or see life. I was thinking to myself the whole time when she said, "Yeah, he got punched," and I
was so annoyed. I was like, "Why did you think that?"
Did this crackhead?
Oh my god!
Really not know it was a headbutt. Even when they gave the explanation that he grabbed me with both arms on my jacket,
I was confused because I was like, "How did she not?" how did she not know?
This should have already been figured out.
Yeah, and so then she immediately figured out what happened. I will say it was wild how we found out the uncle was buying the drugs from Daiki the whole time.
Sure.
And then she was just like, she didn't say nothing about it to the end. She was like, well, yeah, it's classic addiction of this type of thing.
Well, I knew as soon as he said, I haven't slept for days. And I was just like, this dude looked like he's 70.
Absolutely. I was
so
like,
when the case dude said, yeah, the son dabbles in stimulants, I was like, okay, he's a drug addict at the hospital. He wants to be the head. You know.
I will say I was disappointed in the father, though, because he's been so out of practice for so long that he wasn't able to notice a lot of the tell signs that something was up. Like, you know, when it came down to, like, the cardiac arrest and the compressions and stuff like that. Sure. I was like, and he's just like, what? I don't get it. And I'm just like, how are you the director of this hospital? I'm just so confused.
He got there, and that's all that had mattered.
I suppose.
People slack off when they get in that position of power.
I guess so. But it was wild. It was, you know.
I'm not holding back.
Okay.
I give it a 2.
You give the show a 2? I won't give it a 2. I'm going to give the show... I mean, because I like that it was a medical...
I'll give it a 3.
I'm going to give it a 6.5 because I feel like there could have been more to it. So I'm going to give it a 6.5.
Listen, okay? The cases earn it 2 points. The theme song gives it 1.
The theme song's pretty good.
And, you know, her demeanor... I'm not mad at
that ending, though. I'm not mad at that
Her demeanor, her childish behavior, her biscuit head, her yelling...
Oh, man.
Let's see. Her smugness. I've already docked 5 points.
I don't know,
this
man.
how I got the 3.
Some of those cases, like the fact that mom was poisoning her son. Come on, that was crazy.
That's a strong case.
And but the fact that it ended up being like basically a 4-parter because we spent like 2 episodes.
Oh yeah, the spinoff.
And then it came back.
I'll give it a 4. That's the highest I'm going.
Because she brought it all the way back. She was like, wait a minute. So.
How she acted with the kid with cancer?
That was terrible. I mean, listen.
Nah, I'm staying at 4.
Staying at 4. I mean, listen, I stand for Kenta. He's probably one of my favorite characters of the season, okay? Probably one of my favorite characters of the season. But like I said, I give it a 6.5 just because I thought the cases were interesting. I thought it was good. People were combusted fire. That was crazy. Come on. But okay. There you go. Alright, so let's see. Next show. Alright, I have to decide. Hold on. I have to make the right decision because we got the main 2 that need to be discussed out of the way. Actually, normally I would save this for later, but you know what? I'm going to do it now because I feel like I'm a little disappointed in how it ended. So that's why I'm going to go with Flower Asura.
Oh, okay. I didn't know we were talking about it. Go ahead.
Because, you know, it's just, you know, a show. Yeah. I'm just, in this brief, I still love this show. I think it's great.
Sure.
I think it's just a chill, good show.
Yeah.
You know.
Good vibes.
You know, not mad at it at all. Disappointment in how they ended the show. Like, you know, we learned a lot about some of our characters, how the president of our club. She got money. She's from a well-to-do family, like department store. It got crazy really fast. She got locked up. Like, her grandma was, like, absolutely not shutting it down. Her brother's getting married. All this stuff. Still doing the training camp, sure. I just don't appreciate how they set us up to be like, hey, it's the day of the competition. I just didn't like the pacing at the end because I'm just like, ooh, this would set us up for a good season 2. Kind of. Because, well, actually, no, I'm not even... Actually, I don't think it is setting us up for a season 2 because I'm like, what's the point? Like, what are we aiming for?
Sure.
Because, like, we ended up seeing the other girl who, like, because I forgot that she was still a high schooler. I thought she was, like, she graduated already.
Yeah, she's gone.
Yeah, but no, she not. They made it to the Tokyo competition. Like, they were the winners or whatever. So I'm like, cool, that's our next goal. But I'm like, how long is this competition where we are in Kyoto going to last? Like, this ain't going to be a whole season.
Right.
This might be like 2 episodes, if that. So I was like, why didn't we just go ahead and include it in first season to set us up for what's next?
I just think they wanted to end it on like a cliffhanger.
It was too much of a cliffhanger because I'm just like, because we didn't get a resolution. Because like all we got was like, hey, she's free now. She's going to join. It's going to be there. Cool. And I was like, you can't do that. I don't know. I just didn't like the pacing for that one.
That's fair.
I just didn't appreciate it. I was just like, I don't know about this. But I love the show. So if there's a season 2, I'm going to watch it.
Sure.
My fear is that it's not going to have a season 2. And I'm just like so ready for Hana and, what's her name? Shura. For those 2 to go off, to compete, because I really feel like Hana is going to be the person that she recognizes as her rival. But then she also looks like the girl that was on the swing set with Hana from that flashback.
Okay.
So I was like, does she remember her, and is it going to be a whole thing? I was like, who knows? Because, Anne's going to be jealous regardless, because she's not going to be recognized, so it's fine. So I'm just waiting for that moment. I'm waiting for the showdown between Shura and Hana, and I think that's going to be great. Okay. So,
I don't think you're ever going to get that, but all right.
Hey, who knows? I can hope,
Sure.
I can totally hope. But anyways, love the show. I still rate it high. I just think I just enjoy it. It's a good watch. I just wanted more. Okay. I just wanted more. I think that's my disappointment. Is I just wanted more because they had me this whole time.
Sure.
Had me the whole time. I'm gonna give it an 8. I'm gonna give it an 8.
I was thinking 8.
It's a solid show. It's solid, so yes. But there we go. So that's me.
Okay. Had to get that out. Now we have some continuations.
Okay.
I left my A-rank party, as well as Apothecary Diaries. They are both going to spill over into the next season.
Right.
So, with that being said, are you going to rank their first portion?
Yes.
Or, interesting.
I will.
Because they're not titled as like a core 2 or anything like that.
They're not.
It's not the second part. So, it's almost like it's meant to be rated as
I can wait. Right. I can wait on those 2.
All right, I just want to know.
I can wait on those 2
before I proceed. Okay. Let's see here. I'm still going to do I left my rank party to help my former students reach the dungeon.
Sure, not a problem. Not a problem. A lot happened. A lot's happening in this show, which I'm glad we're getting a continuation.
I'm okay with this happening because it's a 24.
Yeah.
So the pacing isn't too bad. Like if they had pulled like a Demon Lord where it's like episode 10, I'm going to a new city and now it's about to be over.
That's crazy.
That would have been like wild to me. So some stuff happened here. We go ahead and we meet some other clans. Now we got as we go to this trade city, there's we're here to look into a new dungeon. There are 2 other B rank guilds. One is from
Actually,
Duna.
Before you even say that, I just want to mention really briefly in the intro, Jamie is there.
Yes, I didn't notice that until episode 11.
Absolutely, but still, I just wanted to say, I was like, so we get in some Jamie time, Possibly, possibly in the upcoming, within, like, before it's done.
Is there going to be a time lapse? Because I thought she has a year probation.
Who knows with this dungeon?
Or is she going to go ahead and be helping us as doing, intel, gathering information?
Something. But go ahead. As you're saying, we're investigating new dungeons.
Also see a B-rank party from the capital. And because of the shenanigans in this dungeon, one of the B ranks withdraw themselves, Team Misty.
Which makes sense.
I mean, I was hoping to see some of the other promising parties in action, but we didn't get that. And we run across this distorted city. We meet this random person named Load who doesn't get picked up on the stream.
Right. He's a hallucination, a figment of our collective imagination.
Right. We also see this girl randomly on the ground. I was like, okay, what's happening?
Right.
There's also a letter that arrives. Like, it was just a lot.
A lot happened.
Like, they said, here's this 3-piece combo, and now we got to worry about all these things. Like, so Rain is from a certain family. They want her hand in marriage. They said you can finally be useful. We got this random girl on the ground. We hear about this event that's about to happen, the culling.
Yes.
So, of course, you got to be a hero.
I was nervous because I was like, oh my, because he was like, we went up into that light. I was like, oh no, are we going back to where we left him? Right. Because it was given the same vibes with the color and everything. So it makes me wonder if where we left him before, where we left Simon, is it, because that town is huge. It's a big city.
And it looks similar.
It looks very similar. So I wonder, did we leave Simon in a different part of that, town?
Sure.
Because the coloring and everything's the same.
Glad Sheen.
Right.
Right.
So I was just like, what happened?
Not to mention, we start to figure out that, I think her name's Mariana, that the monsters are possibly human.
Oh, yeah.
And with her samurai skill, she's like, I feel like I'm cutting into a human.
Yeah, Marina's like, hey, yeah.
Also, I thought it was pretty bold of her. She's just out here giving people nicknames without their permission. That's she just true. Called that girl Rune out of nowhere. And I was like, okay.
We don't know her. Sure.
Right. Like, we just picked her up, and now we just giving her names. So I was just like, okay. So, for our purposes,
yes,
for winter, I was just like, okay, it's going to continue over. I want answers after I just got hit with all this.
There's nothing but answers, nothing but questions. Like, nothing but questions. We need a lot of answers.
And it's only because of that. That's why I chose this for now.
I will say I was annoyed that we didn't, like, when Marina was like, hey, she's up. I was like, why didn't we bring the scientist and Manila at the same time? I was like, they should, so that they know, so that we're all on the same page. Because, like, we're camped out. Like, the tent's 2 tents over.
Or are they already aware?
I don't know.
That they found her.
I don't know.
They're like, put her in your tent. I'm like, I need answers.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that makes sense. Yeah. I think it was a solid show. Yeah, solid show. So looking forward to, getting some answers.
So, it'll get its rating.
At the end
of spring.
I think that's totally fine. All right, let's go ahead and go with possibly the greatest alchemist of all time.
Sure.
Let's see.
Did you see that foreshadowing?
Yes.
I mean to jump, but
you can. I'm a firm advocate of jumping.
Lady Nolan at the end of the season said you could possibly be the greatest alchemist of all time. And that's all I needed to know.
Okay.
So, it finally happens.
Yes.
Near Bolton, a year ago, we get the whole back and forth of the time loops, and then it's just like, boom, it all happens. Everything, like, everyone feels this power surge, this mana.
Yep.
The heroes have finally gone ahead and been summoned. And I'm like, okay.
Yep.
That's all I needed to know. We did go ahead and see. So I was wrong. Camilla is not that girl.
Right.
She is her own person.
She is her own person. Absolutely, yeah.
We go ahead and meet some horrible people. Well, we don't meet them, but we find out about this town that's some refugees. They've been abandoned by their kingdom.
Yeah, that was bad. Like, that was terrible.
Rough. That's pretty rough.
They just have them caravanning from town to town with nowhere to go.
So, we of course have to build a whole town.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like surprised. Like when the next episode started, like, first of all, these kids are already A-rank adventurers, so that was already a problem. It was like just in 3 months. And then I was like, how episode 11 started, I was just like, why are they telling us about the town we made and why is it named Wedgeford? I was like, they just randomly showed up.
It's a wedge fort. That's how I took it.
Well, I just took it as
it's the stronghold between there and our kingdoms. I feel like that's what they were doing.
Okay.
Because I was like, it's a solid fortress, to be honest. Like, yeah, we got some high walls.
They about to attack this place.
I think that's literally what they set it up for, yes.
Right. But, we go ahead, interact with them.
Mm-hmm.
The heroes are on the move. I was just like, yo.
They trashed. They killed those people.
They did kill people.
I was like, those 2 boys are like a menace to society. I know they're already in the can't stand book, but I feel like I might hate these people. They're awful.
They also wanted...
Because their descent happened quickly. Because now that we have like some like time... Like, their descent happened really quickly.
Akane kind of made it sound like
they're being poisoned. Right. That too.
Yo, they were in, like, Akane was coming with Lulu, and, they were like, you bringing that slave? And I was just like, yo, y'all better leave Lulu alone.
Absolutely, like, mind your business.
So we saved Lulu, and Akane, they come with us.
Because that's what we were hoping. We were hoping that they would come with us.
We were hoping for information.
That too.
Because those boys also was trying to go ahead and take newly acquired Manny, as well as... Sophia, that's her name.
That's right. Yeah, that was great. Like, we did interact with them briefly.
Like, get out of here, punks.
Absolutely. Don't worry. And they left too, because the people in the place were just like, they need to get out of here.
That's what. So the stampede started, and it was coming after the new town Wedgeford.
Which makes sense because it's right there. But you know what? Our walls worked pretty well.
I like that we got to meet like the other crew. Crimson Rose.
Yeah,
they had some people.
They got some people. They shutting it down. They were shutting it down, and they were like quickly. They were just like, no questions. We just go in, get it done.
I was a little mad.
Okay.
Sophie was wilding out. Like Sophie was like,
I was disappointed. I think, she was doing a whole lot. Like she had something to prove. I was like, there's nothing to prove here. And then I get it because, he released their contracts.
Right.
And so now, because they're family now, but I think in her mind, she's like, at any time, we'll part ways, right? And I think that's what she was trying to prove. But I appreciate, him being like, talk to me, because you're right. I appreciate talking to me being like, hey, he yelled at her. And they're just like, how could you do that? I was like, no. She put a lot of us at risk by moving forward.
She needed to hear it.
I was like, she needed to hear it because this was not okay. Because if the rest of them did not come at that exact time, she could have been dead, So,
I also like the fact that he told everybody everything.
He did. He was very clear.
I'm a descendant. He was like, yo, we got to talk. This is what's going down.
This is what's really going
down. And they were very accepting of the explanation.
They're like, cool, say less. We're still involved.
Like, we know.
Yes, it was great. Yeah, I just feel like there's a lot that was happening. Sure. We're getting set up for later. I love how Takumi was like, I should have brought our gun.
Yes.
He was like, I should have brought them. But I was like, no, we need someone to protect the house because...
Sure. You never know what's going to happen.
Because, we've seen what has happened before. So, I think that was fine.
Sets up for a good season 2.
Absolutely.
I'm all about it.
Yes. We need to... And I'm okay with that. I'm okay that we didn't have to, have the whole thing where the heroes or the alleged heroes, because, I feel like they're not heroes at all.
Sure.
I'm glad that it wasn't, this huge, fight or, cliffhanger moment. I was like, cool, they set us up. But they laid the groundwork, so now season 2, it's go time.
Right.
It's go time. So yeah. I don't know what Akane thought she could do to stop what was happening. I mean, she could have used her purification stuff on their food too, but she didn't. So I was like, I don't know. Who knows?
Sakamoto Days.
Yes. Oh wait, what do you want to rank it?
Oh, 8.5.
I feel like an 8. I feel like 8's good for me.
Okay.
8, but 8.5. And I only say 8 because the goddess still didn't give us like answers. I still don't like the roundabout stuff because I'm just like, hey, a new deity is coming, and you kind of not paying any attention to it. And I was like, what's going on? Because before she was like, there is no us. She's like, it's just me. And they were just like, what do you mean? She's like, I don't know what else to tell you. Like,
I'm still about at 8.5.
Okay, that's fine. All right, but Sakamoto Days. I don't like how it ended.
Oh.
I don't like how it ended.
I was okay with how it ended.
No, I just feel like there's so much now. Like, you know,
the deer's back.
Yes, bandaged up, which is crazy. I was like, take that mask off. Why do you have the mask?
I like what they did. I feel like most shows should do this. How it ended, it let us know. Summer 2025. I said thank you for giving me information when it's going to start back up.
I mean, I just don't know. I feel like, you know, it was 11 episodes. Right. Okay.
I remember.
And so, I don't know. The fact that we got to meet the people who are like who are about to take us out.
Yeah, death row inmates.
I mean, I feel like they are going to have a real hard time trying to take out Nagumo, but they thought they were real confident because he was number 1 on that list.
Yo, they have several pieces of paper. So they go. There was Dump, who has 180 victims. Saw, 64 victims. Yeah. Apart, 206 victims. And Minialist, 360 victims.
Right.
And like Sir Slur has hired them. They're gonna go after the people. I just love like yo, do not judge a book by its cover. A lot of people are always calling Sakamoto fatty, and they're like, you even think this fat one's gonna give us a problem?
And then the deer's like, oh, he's definitely gonna give you a problem. I mean, I just wonder who else is on the list. I hope it's not the people from the organization because she was handling that chainsaw, so I don't know.
I hope it is, because that way they have to go after the order. I'm like, let's get it together.
I did enjoy the bathhouse. That was funny, right? Because that guy was like, "I'm gonna take him out," and I was like, "In what world?"
I thought the bathhouse was great because of that dad. Them kids was like, "Oh, can we try?" It's like, "Sure." When you grow up, and then at the end, he was like, "You're no fun." I was like, yes, this bathhouse is everything we need.
Because he was like, oh, can I because he was eating ice cream, and he was like, can we have one? He said, when you're older. I was like, are they not allowed to have ice cream? I thought it was great. I mean, I just wanted more, but like we said, we found out what's next. Right. So it's okay. And then, we got a little bit more of like, Lou's backstory and how she's supposed to be taking on the family. Yeah. I love how Wu-Tang is like, he got that apron. I was like, okay, so he's hired immediately. But I was like, what about Hisaki? Like,
he's a part-time employee. Okay?
I just need him to. I just need that. The apron and the name tag.
Hey, they called him up. Like
they did. They're just like, hey, we didn't let him know what's happening.
He was probably running the place while they were handling that. He's a part-time employee.
That checks out. So, yeah, but all in all, it's a good show.
I feel like it lived up to hype.
It did. It did.
8.5.
You know what? 8.5 is solid. I stand by that. I'm down for that one. I will say I was worried though for a second that Shin had lost his powers. I don't know why. I was just like, did something happen? No. But no, he was
just fatigued.
He's just tired, so it's okay. All right. Let's see what is next. Then we only got 2 shows. No, we got 3 shows. You know what? Normally I usually let this be the second, but let's go ahead and talk about Apothecary Diaries.
Okay. 3 new lady in waiting?
Yes.
I don't like how one of them looking at us.
I don't either. I was like, does she know something? I was like, does she know something?
Now, I was confused.
Okay. That makes sense.
Because
a lot happened.
we got taken to this place in the middle of the night, and I was like, what's going on here? Mm-hmm. And then we only saw part of the lady's face that was guiding us, and I was like, because of that hairstyle, I was like, is that old girl we looking for?
Right.
100%. And then I was like, no, this one is much older. Mm-hmm. So I was just like, okay. Yes. And then I was like, ghost stories. And she was a ghost. Because, yeah, the whole time they kept showing those ambers, I'm like, yo, come on, you should know what's going on. Like, there's some incense or something messing with you, girl.
I think she was just. I don't think Mal she'll admit it, but I think she was more like, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to an outing," because she doesn't do this.
Well, she was caught off guard. She was caught off
guard. She was like,
"I should have known sooner."
Because she was like, "I got caught up in the stories, and they were telling some stories." I was like,
Shishui was there.
She always gonna be there. She always gonna be there.
She seems like she should be ratchet. She's just everywhere.
She is. Okay. She is. She totally is. But yeah, that was wild. That was definitely wild because I was like, she the ghost. I was like, how? Because she was engaging with everybody.
She was.
Everybody. And then we come to find out later, they're like, oh, I'm so glad that someone picked it up because she died. And they're just like, what do you mean? They both were just like, what do you mean?
And my mom took it okay.
She was just like, huh.
And then there was the hunt.
I didn't like the hunt.
Me neither.
I didn't like it because I thought this was dumb. I thought it was dumb in a sense of just like, why are we going through... I mean, I will say I appreciate Mao because she's just like, this is none of my business. She's like, I don't need any more heavy, deep secrets. She's like, I don't need any more secrets.
I don't like it.
And then she was like, I need to tell you something. She's like, no, you don't.
I didn't like it only because of what she thinks it stands for. Okay. She's like, she even says how, she's not good at noticing... reading the room, how people feel about her negatively and positively. Mm-hmm. I think she was just taking it as, okay, he somehow was able to avoid becoming an lurch. I don't want to be questioning this or have any info. But if she knew his actual legacy,
I feel like she does, because in the first season, there were hints at it that she thought he was much higher up than he was.
Sure.
And then she immediately was like, you know what, that's dangerous thinking, that's none of my business. And that's why that's what I like about Mao. She's a firm believer, like, it's none of my business.
Hey, he was trying to tell her. I was all for it.
I was too. I was like, let's just get it out in the open. I didn't like Gaoshin's son. He was like working my nerves. He
has an important duty.
I suppose.
He has to keep him safe.
But did he though?
No, he did not.
Okay, so I'm just like, yeah, he's just a little too uppity for me to not have done his job well. I just didn't like the whole flow of it and like the fact that Jinshi has to like cover himself so much. But I'm just like, but they all knew he's coming. They all have an idea of who he is. So I'm just like, what's the point of this? What was the point of this? And then they're all just like, oh, he's been gone for a while. And they keep going. And I was just like, what's happening?
Yeah, his son was like, don't start the search now.
So I was just like, this was a little, annoying.
I just took it as, and good placement, because normally it would, granted, I could have probably picked this one before Sakamoto, because I feel like these last two episodes were just like the calm before the storm.
Yeah.
It was like more lenient, because episode 36 starts the second part of this, the second half of it with the new intro and stuff.
Right.
So that's why I was like, okay, I get it. So, it was a nice relaxing, leading into the next part of the story that we're about to uncover.
Yes. So I'm just like, okay, I love the show. So yeah, I'm just like, so much is happening. So much is happening all the time. So
100%.
Gotta be careful. All right, what's next?
Shangri-La.
Okay.
Again, I am so glad that we came to help him.
Yes, I am too. I'm glad that we, we're good people.
It was questionable.
It really was, because they ratchet and not helpful.
What I did not care for, is the fact that Kay is not going to be able
to fight.
He's being pulled, and now it is a race against time where we're going to try to delay this fight. We are going to try to troll professional gamers.
Yes.
And set this up, and then we end up getting a monkey wrench in the plan. Because
now Sylvie is third instead of fourth.
Right.
And so they're just like, And I love the fact that like we're doing the cosplay thing. Yes. The fact that she was just like, I'm a cosplay because people can't know who I am. And I was like, that makes sense. She's a celebrity. I understand. That would be crazy. I love how Meg was like, man, should I have, dressed up too? And Sunraku was like, he's like, yeah, you should have. Like, right. Now you're the only one.
There's 3 days left until X Day.
Yes, there's 3 more days. And
like some of the crowds, they're loving it. They're like, yo, her name is No Name, No Face.
Right.
And she's about, they're taking the stage. You're like, yo, we know what we're doing. And I'm like, yo, let's prolong this. Put on a spectacle. The longer this takes, and give Kay a shot.
And it was great because they're like, hey, where's Kay? She's like, he's in the bathroom. And I was like, of course, because, they are terrible to each other. So yes, they're terrible. But I'm looking forward to the matches, to be honest, because I feel like a lot of people don't expect much from Sunraku and Amane. Right. But I'm just like, no, these two are phenomenal gamers. Right. They're just really underhanded and they don't care. So I think it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to seeing the matches, to see the lineup. We know that we're getting a 3rd season. Right. So that's exciting. So we don't got to wait too long. But yeah, I will say I was nervous for a second. I thought Sylvie, because at first I was like, no, Sylvie can't have, progressed so much in the game that she's already here where Sunraku and them are. But I was like, no. So she's just getting started. So I was like, that's fine. I will say I have a question about Araba, about the merman, about him, because I'm confused about his I was like, this is a really well advanced NPC. Because the way that he's playing, like the way that Sunraku's like doing these plans and like explaining stuff to him, and he's like speaking back, and it's like,
you think he's a player?
I don't know what to believe. I don't know. But I'm just like, something is off. Because I was like, there's just too much dialogue that's happening. Okay. It was just too much for me. But yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got, really. Just waiting. Yeah. Just waiting for the next season. All right, let's get to the,
What are you ranking?
I rank it at 8. I only say 8 because it gets annoying when we're constantly like switching back and forth between so many games. Sure. But as a gamer, I understand the importance of just like, hey, I need to stop playing this game, play another game. I get it. But I think there's just like so much happening in each game all the time that I'm just like, can we just choose one that's like very high climactic? Because it's like everything's always at stake. Something's always like happening. There was just too much back and forth, and then I was also disappointed that I'm like, we gotta wait. But solid show. Real solid. What about you?
8.5.
Okay. Checks out. Alright, let's go ahead and get this together. This one is crazy. Okay, this is...
It also makes sense. Because I was like, this season... I was like, why is it having 13 episodes? Mm-hmm. And now it all adds up because it started 1 week earlier than everyone else. That's true. So it ends it at the same time. Yes. So where we left off last time. Mm-hmm. First of all, Japan won. Japan won the sparring match.
It was a lame sparring match. I'm gonna say it. I thought it was lame, and I was like, that doesn't really tell me much.
Not at all. That's why it was just a sparring.
It just lets me know that, hey, Korea didn't have any good S ranks.
And then Goto wanted to spar with Jinwoo. Mm-hmm. And they had to break that up. Which was dumb because I was like, let them finish. I was like, y'all didn't do nothing. I was like, this room is supposed to withstand. Let the room withstand. And so I was just like, this was lame. So I didn't appreciate that. I was also mad that Jinwoo was not going to join the Juju raid.
I'm glad that he was like, no. I'm glad that he was like, no at first.
The only reason I say I'm not I'm mad is because we got a retired S-rank healer. Mm-hmm. He went ahead and joined. Yeah. And I'm like, come on, man.
Well, no.
This dude coming out of retirement for
I think that's fine because here's the thing. He's a newly S rank. Okay, he's newly S rank. And, you know, I'm just like, let me see what everyone else is doing. Okay. You know, because so far we haven't really seen what these S ranks can actually do, except for like one. Okay, like, you know, the one who, you know, the dancing blade, like, she's good. Like, we've seen her in action. Okay, and I'm just like, cool. But I'm like, the other two guild leaders, I'm just like, I haven't really seen y'all do much. Y'all been on numerous raids, apparently, allegedly. And now we're unsuccessful. So I'm just like, well, what are y'all doing? And then, you know, then we see the spar. I'm like, no, because he was also like, okay, I can finally see what they can do. Right. And I'm just like, no. I was like, I'm fine with him like setting his boundaries to be like, you know what? I don't need to be involved in this. Why don't you? Because like, if he wasn't here, if they didn't know, because you know, it was his business to go under the radar as much as he could. And then it got to a point where he couldn't anymore, which is fine. Right. So I'm just like, I'm okay. And then too, like, his mom's better. He wants to spend time with his family. Sure. Okay? I feel like that's totally fine. And then Japan was very cocky too at the same time. They're just like, hey, we got it. And I'm just like, so y'all got enough. Right. I was like, that's totally fine.
As the episode ends. Yeah. The healer from the Japan group is killed. You just see head taken off.
That was crazy. But she shouldn't have been playing around in the first place anyway. I was like, can we be serious, please? I was like, these are some intense ants. You know, not like Chimera, like not Hunter Chimera ants, but up there.
Oh, they probably take them things.
I don't know.
At least them white ants.
Okay. I was like, you talking about the red ants? I was like, come on. Nah. I was like, Chimera ants from Hunter. That's a whole nother thing. Okay.
Now then, the same thing, moving fast.
What's fast?
This thing, in total, thus far, has killed 3 S-rank hunters. Mm-hmm. At this point, in the cavern, our S-rank hunters in Korea, they are fighting the white ants. Each one is as strong as an S-rank hunter. Then we go ahead and find out Japan's hunters again, drawn sword. Yep. Is trying to look for the group that went silent earlier. 2 of them go. They get killed. Mm-hmm. In the Queen's Chamber, we go all out. You know, his ultimate weapon, using all his power. Mm-hmm. President Bake transforms. You know, we ain't messing around. And I had completely forgot about that cameraman. He is rank 8.
Absolutely. He was like, he said, I should be able to handle this. And I was like, that's right, because in order to have these cameras, you need to also be ranked.
But, you know, we got 80% viewership. People are watching. And then they beat the queen. And the people are rejoicing. Right. And then the ants start returning to the nest. And then the black ant, you know, he show up, and then that thing goes silent. Yes. The feed get cut or whatever. Yes. But that black ant, he sent Cha flying. He ripped off the arms of the healer guy.
Oh yeah. Which I thought was crazy because if that
no, he ripped off the arms of the dude with the judo looking the key. Yeah. That big guy. Because yeah.
And I feel like he was talking too much. Because he was like, oh, I'm gonna be fine as long as we have our healer. And immediately when he said that, that's when he took him out. And I was like, if you had just been quiet and mind your business, we would still have our healer.
Yeah, because that healer ant noticed.
He did. He was just like, say like less.
Arm through the chest.
Immediately.
Then he starts squeezing the life out of President Beck. Yeah. So much that he untransformed.
Yeah, he did.
And then that ant started learning speech. And I was like, what is going on? And that was after he ate the healer. And that dude could have killed Beck. And he said, killing you soldiers does nothing when you killed our queen. Where is your king? And then he said he sent something. So he headed to who he thought was the king.
Which was Goto. And we didn't even see that fight.
Yeah, because by the time he went up to Goto had 2 people with him. He deflected, Goto deflected one attack, and the dude ended up killing the other S rank with him. So now we had 6. Yep. He done killed 6 S ranks.
I feel like it's only been like 10 minutes. That's how confident. I feel like it's been a very short amount of time.
And then they were like, all the ants started returning to the hive, and they were like, we got 0% chance to survive. And then we start to notice the underhandedness. The military, so a rival nation, military might decimated, and their country receives the glory of conquering the S-Rank Gate. They had a plan. Japan's chairman, Matsumoto, has been planning this all along. He went ahead and said, yo, let's go ahead and retreat, and then we'll come back.
Which makes sense, because I was like, they have more S ranks.
Right.
And so, they're like, we're only going to send this amount. So I was like, you know what, there is a plan here. Yes.
And yeah, so as soon as he was like, yo, he basically was like, let all them ants go back to the hive. They going to finish them, and then we going to come be the heroes and claim this S-Rank Gate.
Right.
And at this point, they getting overwhelmed. And then out of all their shadows, some shadow warriors come.
Yep.
Protect them a little bit, and all you hear is the word exchange. And I was like, okay, let's get it.
It was crazy.
Like, let's get it. That's all I need to know.
Yep.
And just to foreshadow a little bit, or that chairman was so mad. He was like, how did he get there? He was so mad. Really and then they found out Goto had died also.
Right.
That Drawn Sword Guild took a hit.
Yeah, they did.
They lost 7 S ranks. And one of them was in PTSD. He was like, I'm not going back on that island.
He said, absolutely not. He said, this is what they dealing with over here?
And they was like, we just confirmed that the Black Ant is dead. And I was like, he was like, what? So Jinwoo go ahead, he shows up. Cha's fading. And I was like, yo, we need to speed this up.
He put in work. He healed everybody.
Everyone he could, except for Cha.
Right.
And I'm glad that this happened.
Okay.
Because he was like, we gotta move. And he was like, yo, don't tell me, because the Ultimate World was watching them. They were like, and I was like, I wanted us to arise some ants, but not in front of them.
But yeah, he did that later, which was great. Because he was like, y'all don't need to know all my secrets.
Right.
Which makes sense.
So I was like, okay. The Black Ant shows up. They fight. It lasts like a whole episode. And I thought it was hilarious. The Black Ant started to have its own thoughts. He was like, I have to run.
He said, I gotta get out of here. He said, it's dangerous. I have to go. And he was like, absolutely not.
I did put note to self, real talk. We better arise all of those S-rank hunters that are dead in these S-rank ants. Like, that way our army
I
will be
don't
sick.
know. I
want it.
I mean, at first I was like, hey, with the ants made sense, but the S-rank, I don't think he was going to do, because he wasn't there. I don't think he really knew the whole scope of the situation.
Sure.
Because he was like, my shadows mainly was in Goto and another person. And, so I was like, he probably don't know.
Now, they did go ahead. He arises the S-rank healer, Biangu. And
I was annoyed with Bach because I was like, shut up.
Yeah.
I was like, shut up for real. Because he was like...
Because at one point I was really happy. I was like, yo, we got an S-rank
healer.
And I was like, no, letting this dude go.
Absolutely not. Because at first I feel like he would have been like, don't worry, he'll be in my ranks, but I'm not going to let him be out in the world. Right. But then now Bach is like, well, actually, I would request you don't do that. And I'm just like, this has nothing to do with you.
Yeah, keep moving.
I'm just like, if we're going to keep moving forward at this pace... We need to have you should be thankful that I have an S-rank healer who is at peace with me doing this, right? So I was just like, mind your business. So I was disappointed. I mean, he brought her back. Right. Because, I don't think our country has an S-rank healer. Now, I think he was the only one. Well. So now I'm just like, because of his selfish request... Because, Jinwoo's not out here making his people do anything crazy. Sure. Because, he's like, I only send people out who I know who's able to get this job done. So...
I
thought it was annoying that we listened to him.
No, because it's one thing, because we've already met a person who can summon like a necromancer from the guild, the Hunters Guild.
Yeah.
So I was okay with the people we did summon. Mm-hmm. They just think those people are just summoned.
Right.
And then our only other ability is to bring back hunters or humans as shadows. So, because I feel like if they knew we could bring back ants, they would be concerned.
I mean, they're going to find out.
I don't think they will.
They're going to find out. Come on. Now with Beru being...
you see how fast he was?
Absolutely.
He'll do everything so quick they don't know.
I mean, look, that's true too. And I also love how he was just like, it's fine, you can raise me. He's like, I'm a lieutenant. He's like, whoa, the rank
right,
changed.
General rank.
I was like, okay, we got different
And
ranks.
he speaks. Jinwoo became level 100. And then I was like, yo, what was that glitch?
Right. Absolutely. I was like, what's happening?
Out of nowhere.
Yes. It was crazy. It was good. It was good. I would say it was good. It was good. I enjoyed it. I thought this was great.
Then it's set up for season 3.
Yes, definitely set up for season 3. We're gonna have our own guild.
Well, not even that part.
Okay.
But speaking about our own guild, I'm like, yes, because depending on who we add to the guild.
I don't want that girl to join. She's gonna hold us back.
What girl?
What's his sister's friend?
Sure, but she's gonna be a part of it.
Unfortunately, she was like, join. I'm just like, aren't you E? I was like, come on.
I'm thinking we're gonna have those two.
Well, yeah.
Jinho and the girl.
Yeah.
I'm thinking we're going to add...
I think we're going to get the B rank healer.
Yes.
Because her and the old man. Because they were just like, thank goodness. So I was like, we're going to get
both of them.
Yes.
I think we're going to get the guy from Beck's guild who was investigating us.
Yes.
And I also think we're going to get their healer.
Yes.
Oh, girl, because they showed all 3 of them together and they've been scouting us out. I'm like, I want all 3 of them too.
Unpopular opinion. Do you think Cha is going to leave?
Yes.
Current guild and join our guild.
Yes, she says she wants to stand there. So I said that's that.
Okay.
I'm hoping Beck never realized, because of how much he's changed in appearance.
Yeah.
Hopefully Beck doesn't realize Iron is one of his people.
Yes.
But then they set the stage for season 3 because some old blue dude opens a gate.
Yes.
And we got a blue dude. We got this big, huge... It looks like Craig and the Hunter from Spider-Man.
It was crazy, but then I was like, who are these people? Because they were just like, hey, his presence is here. They're talking about another person. And they're just like, but the fact they were able to open gates and stuff willy-nilly. And they're talking about like a she. They're just like, she's not going to like this.
Yeah, need to know who that she is.
Need to know who that is.
I took the presence as we saw it standing above all of them. Jinwoo's dad.
And I was like, is he part of their ranks? But then I was like, I don't think so.
I think he the one who they saw.
But he's not able to open up gates and stuff.
Yeah, but they were like, his presence as in, do we got to throw with him?
Yeah.
Like he could be a bit of a problem kind of thing.
He definitely a problem.
I was thinking, was this old blue guy, is he Barack's dad? Because I was just like, yo, what is this about?
Yes. Okay.
And then...
Because I had immediately, I was like, ISOs are coming back? I was like, no. I was like, what's going on? I was like, what's happening?
Then we had...
Because my question was, I was like, are these people part of the threat that the demons were talking about before?
Possibly.
Okay.
Then we had the media, where some people were like glad Jinwoo showed up. Some people like, yo, if he showed up sooner, we wouldn't have lost as many people.
I'm like, these are all facts. These are all facts. But then also at the same time, they weren't there. Like, they saw how that was.
You don't know what he was doing.
Exactly. You don't know.
He might have been on a mission.
Right. We had people on boats who never made it to shore.
Also, I'm really not trusting technology here.
Yes.
We were trying to drive home. There was a traffic jam. There's a gate there. It's supposed to be a B gate. As soon as we got in it, it was a red gate. And I'm like, can these machines start to detect the actual level of these gates, please?
I don't think so.
But it ended great. I did see that we did resurrect some ants.
We did. So I was very happy. Yes. And
we about to overpower this gate and proceed. So it ended.
Well, my question is, do you think now that Beru's under Jinwoo now, do you think he'll be able to answer, like, why did you all take over that island? Do you think that'll ever be a question that's answered?
We'll see. I mean, I just took that island as it was an outbreak.
Okay.
Kind of island when you can't close the gate. So that's just how I took it.
Okay.
But sure. I mean, it sounds like he should be able to
because he speaks
to him now.
Right. And he's under so he wouldn't glitch.
Ideally.
Okay.
Who knows what this glitching's about?
Right.
That being said, whatever this is, we better get some of these shadows too, because they were able to hang a little bit.
Yes.
With some of our soldiers.
Absolutely.
You can never have too much manpower.
No, we are, yes.
I'm also mad that this isn't a game, because I would be arising so much stuff.
All the time.
Yeah, like they would have to put like a cap.
Maybe there's one in the works. Maybe
I hear there's like a mobile one, but I'm like, we need an actual platform.
Yes, right. We need to be able to handle it.
Yeah.
What do you rate? I've given it a 9. I'm giving it a 9. I'm just giving it a 9 because I don't want to give it that perfect score yet.
9.5.
Okay. Really? Okay, that makes sense. Really quickly, and I forgot. This is what I wanted to bring up in Shangri-La.
Sure.
I'm annoyed that Sunraku, his level, he's at 100, but his life is only 80. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Glass cannon.
That doesn't make any sense to me. No. If you're going to be at level 100, your HP's at 80, make it make sense.
No, I got no problem. Glass cannon, glass house, whatever term you want to use in the game world.
That's crazy.
No
okay.
attack, no health.
All right, most anticipated for spring, because spring is here.
Did you minimize your list, or should I go first?
You should go first. Actually, no, I can do it. I can do it because I can list my main ones. Windbreaker season 2.
100%.
I'm annoyed by this, but I need this to be done. Fire Force season 3.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay. I mean, look, season 2 worked my nerves.
Oh, okay.
Season 2 was so annoying, but I was like, we need to hurry this up.
Okay.
Okay. We both love this show. Aharin wa season 2.
Right.
It's gonna be great. Witch Watch.
Okay.
This one I'm excited about. From Old Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman.
Yep.
The Brilliant Healer's New Life in the Shadows.
Yeah, I got that too.
Lazarus is on here.
Yes.
I'm gonna say that one for last, and that's fine. Your Forma. You probably won't like this one, but this is probably gonna be a back burner for me, and that's okay. The Dinner Table Detective.
Interesting. Okay.
I have Mono, and what else do I have? Oh, I think this is gonna be a suspense or like mystery thing, so I'm gonna get into it because I think there's a good stride going. The Mononoke lecture logs of Chuzenji Sensei, and lastly, I'm hesitant because they're expanding the world even more. And technically, this is like a prequel, which is fine. But My Hero Academia Vigilantes. I gotta see what it's about.
Okay.
I gotta see what it's about. And that's what I got.
All right, you come up with these lists. We'll see how many you actually want to come into here.
I said, hey, some of them are gonna be. I mentioned which ones are gonna be back burners, so it's fine.
I didn't even mention back burners
because
Vigilante got it. The only one you haven't listed, which is probably gonna take the cake in this season, the beginning after the end, seems to be probably is gonna be
the
pretty
show.
Good.
The beginning after the end. Hold on.
It's gonna be pretty good.
Okay.
Of course, with Windbreaker. But okay, so those are the most anticipated.
We're doing okay.
That we have here. Yeah, I already see who's probably going to be the strong 4. So yeah.
Who's going to be the strong 4 then?
I mean, we'll wait for that.
You think the beginning after the end is going to be in the top?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Talking about Windbreaker, probably. And then the Healer show.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's why I say we'll wait, because I don't know what Lazarus is going to be, but I have high hopes for it.
I was on the fence about the Sword of the Demon Hunter. I think that'll be a back burner for me, but I'm gonna see what it's about.
Sure, we'll see.
All right, cool. All right, so that's this week's episode of Kaizoku Uncharted.